Hello, welcome to our first inaugural podcast episode from Top Talks. My name is Mr. Mario Humel. I'm a former First Sergeant and Drill Sergeant actually from the United States Army. And the purpose of this podcast is to talk about military issues and situations to enlighten former members of the military or current members of the military in any kind of question they may have. Just a disclaimer, comments and opinions that's discussed in this podcast is solely based on our experiences, so please don't take those at heart. If you don't like what you hear, you can always move on. But before then, I'd like to introduce our co-host. First off, from my left and your right, go ahead, sir.
I'm Randy Nunez, first sergeant retired. Just like Mario, freshly retired about 2 years ago.
Okay, and from my right, your left, sir.
Hello, Rogelio Cortez. Um, First Sergeant retired since 2017.
Old school.
Old school.
Old school, I see. So, all right. So the first topic that we're going to be discussing today is transitioning out of the military. I know me and Randy we transitioned
Little late.
little late.
Yeah.
Mr. King, when did you retire?
2017.
Vietnam era.
Vietnam era.
Vietnam.
Vietnam era.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
Might
and
as well. 2017. Oh my God. Time
Yeah,
does
that's
fly.
forever
Oh, yeah.
years ago.
It does.
I know.
yeah, and it's
I mean, 2 years feels forever
it's
already.
time flies when you're having fun, is what they said.
That is true.
Yeah.
Very true.
That is
Yeah,
true.
we'll get to that topic later. But
Okay.
that is a true statement.
Yes. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna go through some questions that I know some soldiers have asked, and this is for everybody on the podcast. So the first question is, what factors influence your decision to retire from the army? Who wants to start to discuss about that? What situation were you in when you that made you decide to retire from the
Yeah,
army?
I'll go. So it was 2015 when I got stationed in Korea, Camp Humphreys. That was my assignment. I was the garrison first sergeant for Humphreys during the construction, and in garrison, one of my mentors was the deputy garrison commander, civilian, former retired first sergeant MP. Right, he did pretty well, and we always talk. And he was quite mentoring me, and he asked me, "You're nearing your 20 years. What is it that you want to achieve?" So at first, I said, I want to go to the top. I want to complete the whole enlisted ranks.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Sergeant Major, why not?
Of course. Yeah.
And at that time, I was already at 18 years. I had my first look, and I was going for my second look.
Right.
So I was pretty confident. But at the same time, there was something that was bugging me in what he said. This is what he told me. 2016, leading into 2017. So 2016, he was calculating. Okay, at 20 plus 3 more years or 4, if you do get selected, Sergeant Major Academy, and then your high 3, right? That puts you this year.
Right.
At this time, your base pay would be this.
Right.
And each year over 20, 2.5% addition to your retirement. Sounds great.
Right.
What triggered me was, if you do find a civilian job that pays this much, you have beat that 2.5 retirement that you've been saving for when you do retire from the Army.
Right.
At the same time, you are missing out on your military retirement pay, possible VA,
Right.
and then the new line of financial from the
Right.
civilian job.
That's right.
So at that time, it sounded like it was like a bunch of crock. I didn't believe it,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah,
I was
we
still,
never did.
no,
Yeah.
I was still all into the army.
That's right.
I did my own research,
Okay.
so it was a clear understanding that I was trying to do was what is the right move for me, right? I'm hitting 18, 19 years in the army, almost 20 by the time.
Right.
My body is not the same
Mm-hmm.
as it was before.
Right.
I don't know if I could still be competitive and be in front of soldiers. That's the honest truth.
Right.
The whole time I was in the infantry, and while it was great, there's a lot of taxing for the body.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two things I was trying to weigh down. That kind of influenced me to drop packing.
Mm.
I was being marketable at the same time. I was setting myself up for success. All
Right.
throughout, I was finishing my college. By 2016, a year before I got out, I already completed my master's.
Right.
Mm.
I knew that I had to have something competitive to the civilian sector,
Right.
saying that yes, besides my years in the army experience,
Yeah.
I have also this degree
Right.
comparable to your new candidates coming up from college,
Right.
right? So if they're looking at college degrees, check.
Yeah.
Years of experience, check.
Yeah.
What more do you want?
Exactly. Yeah.
So those are the things that I was making sure that I do have,
Right.
and once I had it, it was kind of
It's time to go.
time to
That
go.
was your green light.
Green light, let's do it.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's he was definitely.
I mean, I'll do the same thing.
He's definitely more prepared than me.
So tell me
Oh,
about
mine.
yours.
I was definitely not that prepared in a sense, right? I think Rogelio was definitely had all the checkbox figured out. I think me, my whole career, I've always heard people say that you'll know when you wake up.
Mm-hmm.
You just know.
That's true, though.
You wake up
Yeah.
and you just know it's your
It's
time.
time.
It's time, right?
Yeah.
And I had never understood that until it was my turn. But I mean, yeah, of course, me and my wife were planning, of course, financially. We wanted to make sure that we were ready, and we wanted to be prepared. I wanted to prepare myself so when I retire, I can at least take a break. I know that was my first goal.
Boom.
My first goal was, okay, before I retire, I want to make sure that I can at least minimum 1 year. 1 year of break.
Hiatus.
Yeah.
Iris.
And,
Yeah, I mean, that's what I did.
And financially be okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was my goal. One of my first goal, right? And then so that's my box, right? My box is not a long list, but really, at the end of the day, I really just woke up and the army was changing for me. I think
Yeah.
when Rogelio retired, it was 2017. I was still kind of a little bit old school, but starting to change to the newer army school, so to speak. And that was us.
Was it rough?
Oh, it's very rough.
Yeah.
It's like walking in
Eggshells.
eggshells,
Yeah.
right? So it's getting, as a senior leader, you almost have to watch what you're saying, and it's becoming like a prison. You know what I mean? Like I can't express myself. That makes sense. Like back in the day in our
You can
our
test
job,
somebody out?
that's right. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And you can see that two ways.
Yeah.
That could be a good thing and bad thing to change, right? I mean, I was able to adapt, but for me, that was one of my checklists that I think it's time to go.
I think that happens to every generation.
Right.
Everything changes.
So I mean, I didn't really. I knew I was gonna retire. Again, it's more of me just waking up one day. It's like, okay, I think it's time to go.
I'm smiling because I do remember going to basic training in 96.
Yeah.
And then
90s. Yeah.
96. And then
Yeah.
listening to our drill sergeants
Right.
saying, like, you guys are a bunch of wuss.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
army is changing.
Yeah. That's funny, right?
Right? And then when I was going through it, I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
I'm already all sucking. This is
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
What were they doing?
What were you doing?
Yeah, like
doing?
that.
I remember getting hit by the drill sergeant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Accidentally.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
no.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not accident,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Pow!
You know.
One
Yeah.
of my experience back then, he was a drill sergeant, but not fully pledged.
Right, right.
No hat,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about. We call them turtles. Yeah.
right? Turtles.
Right, right, right.
This guy would come in the barracks.
Probably the worst.
Oh my god. 3 a.m. in the morning, drunk as hell, wake everybody up for a smoke session.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude. But back then,
Yeah, yeah.
I guess we didn't know any better, so
Right.
we did.
Yeah.
You know, we get smoked, blah blah blah. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
we did
yeah,
the
yeah.
whole thing.
I know. It's
This is different.
it's and again, because probably the audience probably gonna see that. Okay, well, that's not good. I mean, again, you can see that two ways, right?
Right, right.
But for me, in our experience, I think that was to me that I thought that was good
Mhm.
because I think that's why I was more disciplined.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? My NCO was yelling at me, but I know that he got my back, I got his back. You know what I mean? We had that mutual understanding
Right.
that I was getting cussed at, but at the same time, it's nothing personal. Now it's in my era or our era,
Mhm.
it became more personal. Like
It's
Wow.
they
kids-
more cater.
yeah, it became
cater.
more because younger soldiers
Yeah.
are becoming more sensitive and they're taking it too personal.
It's
Did that make sense?
generational.
Oh my
It's
God.
generational.
Yeah, so it's harder for me. So to me, I guess I had to just pass on the torch. It's like, hey, you know what? I either get out now or
Get in trouble?
one or the other. But something is gotta go. And
Yeah.
it's, you know what I mean. And that's definitely I didn't want my sanity to go.
Yeah.
So I retired.
Yeah, and pretty much almost the same between you guys. But you know what they say, like if you become a sergeant first class, you're ready for retirement, right? So I got
Staff sergeant actually.
actually staff sergeant. Yeah, you're ready for retirement.
I thought I made it.
So that's why my goal was in the beginning, like after drill, when I was a drill sergeant, I just got promoted. I got selected for sergeant first class. So I was like, okay, cool. My next assignment will be my last assignment, and then everything else I'm gonna cruise until 20 years. 20 years, right? So I've been promoted for a sergeant first class at 12 years.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, or 11 years, no, 12 years, and I was thinking, okay, after my 12th year, the rest of the time I'm just gonna hit 20. I'm gonna retire sergeant first class, right? And then I got assigned to the command, which Joint Special Operations Command is with the Special Forces community. So we were treated as a 42 Alpha. You didn't, in the Army, you're the clerk. You're
Yeah.
that guy that does paperwork.
Right.
But when I was assigned to that unit,
Yeah.
I was more than that. So I felt more involved in the mission. I felt more involved in the department because it's a joint unit. So it's not just Army. It's also Air Force, Marines, all that stuff. So I was more invested, and I kind of got more fire, if that makes
Yeah,
sense,
yeah.
right? So I kind of got burnt out because I was doing that, deployed a lot of times, and I was doing that for 8 straight years in the command. So I was kind of burnt.
Right.
So I was like, okay, cool. My next assignment will be easy. I'm gonna be, I got promoted to E8, and I did my first sergeant gig in JSOC, and I got my assignment to my next duty station after 8 years, and I was like, all right, cool. Nothing's gonna freaking stress me out after this assignment, right? Everything
Yeah,
else
okay.
will be easy. No.
Yeah.
So I ended up going to the Defense Intelligence Agency, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
a
yeah.
3-letter agency, and I was thinking, okay, they don't really. I don't think they have really that much of a mission. I never hear about DIA,
Yeah.
and then when I got assigned to DIA, my sergeant major got activated,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Hey, Tag, you're it. You're gonna be the J1 sergeant major." So I was like, "All right, cool. I guess this is cool. I guess I got experience for being a sergeant major." So I did the sergeant major thing, and it was not rainbows and fluffy cotton candy, all the stuff, right? It was hard because everybody, you are the lead Army NCO for that agency, which is 80% civilian, 20% military. So I was on constant stress. I travel all over the world to meet people because we have 150 locations around the world. So I was kind of burnt out. That's when I decided to retire because I was like, okay, cool. I'd like to have sergeant major But I did a sergeant major gig, and it burned me out. So I'm like,
Right, right,
is it worth it? I did my research just like you,
Yeah.
and I was like, you know what? It's not that big of a difference. I mean, you get a title as a sergeant major, great, but you
Yeah.
don't. I mean, it's not really much of a difference between a master sergeant and a sergeant major. I mean, it's
In
still,
terms of pay.
yeah, in terms of pay,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you still have prestige because it's still a higher ranking NCO, right?
Yeah,
I-
yeah, yeah,
I-
for sure.
Yeah, and I think just
Yeah.
to remove the stigma,
Yeah.
senior level,
Mhm.
it's like icing on the cake.
Oh, for sure.
7, 8, 9.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Those
Seven, I thought was the icing.
those are really
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
hard
They're tough.
promotions.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
You-
Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day,
Right.
I don't know how the promotion system now is,
Yeah.
but back in the day, that's
Yeah.
hard. That's you're actually picking and cream of the crop. That's army wide.
No, you're
Mhm.
right. Because when I joined the army, staff sergeant was the retirement rank. That's
Yeah.
why I was
Yeah,
joking, but I wasn't joking. Because
Right, right, right,
back
right.
in the day, that was the retirement rank.
Yeah,
A lot of people
you
retired
made
at
staff
these seats.
sergeant, and you basically made it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Anything after that is more like consolation prize.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Icing in the cake, like you
Yeah,
say.
yeah. But you're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that- and it
making,
kinda-
so making a first sergeant is like, to me, was like, damn.
Yeah. So that's the start of my thought process of I need to set myself up for retirement. So I asked, as that position, I was able to ask Branch, hey, can you hook me up, get me to Fort Lewis?
Yeah, yeah.
So I ended up in Fort Lewis.
First time in Fort Lewis?
First
That was-
time. This is my second time in Fort Lewis.
Oh, so that's why you requested to come back.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, requested to come back, and when I got here, they said, "Oh, you're going to a medical company, medical brigade, 62nd Medical Brigade." Like, oh yes, this prestigious medical brigade. I don't think they do anything because there's nothing going on right now in the world for a medical brigade. And then COVID hit.
Okay.
That definitely solidified my decision. Like, oh crap.
Yeah.
So we were in the middle of deployment,
Yeah.
and somebody from branch called me up. Like, hey, we're sending you a replacement. Blah blah. You're going to the academy next year. Like, hold up. I said, keep the replacement, but I'm declining the academy because this is back then where they still have the, hey, we're gonna select you, go to the academy.
Yeah.
And they gave me a heads up so I can start doing my distance learning and all that stuff in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna retire,
Right.
and then I'll tell my buddy to keep coming because I'm gonna still retire. So we still have a empty slot. So they still sent it, and thank God he did because that enabled me to have a big gap where I can take care of myself, my
Good.
family.
That,
and
yeah.
that is exactly why I was in the same boat because
Yeah.
you have to decline. Because if you don't decline,
right,
then that means you have 6 months to get out.
To get
Exactly.
out. Correct.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, so I was talking to my sergeant major also. It's exactly what you said. It's like, you might want to go decline that if you're planning on retiring.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna go right now.
Yeah.
Same 5 minutes.
Same 5 minutes.
Same 5 minutes.
Decline.
I did it. Decline.
Yeah. So
Because I was ready. You know
yeah,
when you
I
know
was,
they say.
yeah, I was. My knees are, being airborne. My
Yeah.
back is.
Yeah. And even my last unit, man. I think my last unit in Korea, I got blessed. That was the first time
Yeah.
that was away from the infantry, and it was like
More
That was like
relaxing.
I would call it a vacation, but you still have to work.
Right. But
Right.
it's a different kind of hard work.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah, yeah.
that was
It's like-
amazing.
yeah.
I really wish that I had breaks in between, just like that.
Right.
Then I guess I wouldn't be all beat up.
I see what you're saying. Instead of the tail end.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, we're gonna move to
That's pretty good. That's
the next question here.
Yeah. What do you got there?
So I'm gonna skip some
Yeah, go ahead.
because I
Tom.
think we mentioned stuff
few.
that
Okay.
that pretty much
Yeah, absolutely.
answers the questions. So here's another one. Like, what resources did you use? Did you find most helpful in preparing for retirement?
Hmm.
So let me start on this one. There
Okay.
is a booklet. If you go to the SFL TAP website in the Army,
Mhm.
there's a kind of like a retirement booklet,
Mhm.
and it has all the information that you need to retire. So it's
Wait, what?
kind of like the format for the SFL TAP brief, but it's
What?
in the booklet format.
Let me understand the question. Like what?
What resources you
Like
found that helped you through the retirement process?
Okay.
you know.
Okay, okay, okay.
So one of the resources that I got is that booklet.
The booklet.
Yeah, it tells you like, hey, how many days,
Oh, okay. The timeline.
the
Got you,
timeline,
got
all
you.
the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a one piece of someone my S1 actually gave me
Mhm.
a piece of paper with the glide path.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
One piece of paper, and that's what I carried, and I think that's what you meant, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
How about you? Do you get?
Same. Again, working for Garrison, you kind of like
Yeah,
you have all the resources.
you do
It's
actually.
like the people that are actually running it. So
Yeah.
I was kind of lucky.
Yeah.
We didn't have an S1. We had MPD.
MPD. I used to be in charge of MPD.
So that's even better.
I know. That was even
That's
better.
the people that does everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the PSB of
Yeah,
The
the higher
current.
echelon, right?
yeah.
So that was good for me.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Okay. Let's see. How did you maintain a sense of purpose and fulfillment after leaving the military?
Ooh.
Sense of purpose and fulfillment.
You know what? Actually, because me, since I took a long year break, right?
Mhm.
I was into golf, and I you know one thing. I met this retiree that lives close by, and you know what he told me? He said, "Try not to sleep in the afternoon, because that's how people get heart attack, right? For real." They said that. So that gave me the purpose
Mm-hmm.
to do something, which I know. That was a funny. I was like,
You heard that,
Like,
folks? Don't
and-
sleep in the afternoon.
I was like, but I was like, well, I noted, but I wasn't, I was still sleeping though.
Yeah. I slept. I slept more
No,
now.
but a purpose. I was playing golf a lot.
Yeah,
And
I think I was trying to catch
had
up
a-
on all the sleep that we lost during
Alright.
in the military.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't really do a lot of planning as
Yeah.
far as what am I gonna do. I just
No, like what you got like. So once you got out, what did you do to get some fulfillment in your life? I guess.
to get something that I missed out
Like
on.
you say, yeah, you
Yeah,
did
something I
golf.
missed out on, like
Yeah.
more time for myself to play golf,
Mhm.
more time with my family, vacations, weekends, even the weekdays. I was actually cooking. I don't even know how to cook. But I did a lot of stuff that caters to my family, because
Yeah.
those are the things that I missed out on
Mhm.
the whole year. And
Yeah.
to me, that was, I think, fulfilling. It's good
Yeah.
to give back to my family, because they gave me some when I was, they supported me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So,
What do you- what do you
Same
do?
here. There was
Yeah.
a lot of family time.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of family time because even
Yeah.
from my last assignment, it was single. I was
Away,
away from my family.
That's right.
So they stayed here. I was in Korea, retired out of Korea, came back here, and just try to catch up with all the time that was
Yeah.
that we've been separate.
I know, that's a whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A whole lot of time.
Yeah, I think somebody told me about this. One of my sergeant major friends. He's like, and for those who are planning on retiring here in the near future, what his advice was, in the next 2 years prior to retirement, take as much leave as you can. You know, not going over to what you're planning on transitioning leave, basically, right? So let's say you have 60 days, you can only have, however long transition leave, 180 days or whatever the case may be. Take your family out. So that you start getting used to getting that family time. So when you
we're not gonna take
retire-
them out, right?
no,
Not
Bang!
Get out of here.
no, but that's what his advice was.
But let me caveat something though, because just for people that's listening, right? With that said, I think I it's hard to not mention. I think you have to be financially okay and ready,
Yes.
because got it. If you're planning on spending time with family and all of that, not
Mhm.
having a job, especially the first couple months when you're not gonna get maybe first your paychecks.
Yeah.
First two. I planned at least. I anticipated not getting paid at least the first 3-4 months.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're supposed to have at least 6
Something like
months
that,
of
right?
savings just
Right.
in case.
And I think that's important to know for everybody, because the question is, how it's hard to fulfill your. What was the question again? Your
Your what about that?
Your passion.
your
Passion,
passion,
yeah.
and if you try to spend time with your family and try to spend
Purpose of
time,
purpose and fulfillment.
right?
Yeah.
It's easy to say I did this and that,
Mhm.
but if you're not financially ready, I think that's gonna stress you out more.
That
Right.
is true. That is
Am I
true.
making sense? Like
It does. From my perspective, retiring overseas,
right,
civil tap or SFL tap was, kind of.
not that great.
It's better now.
It's good,
It's
but
better
it's,
now.
there's some kinks.
I
There's some
wasn't
kinks.
I wasn't impressed.
Got you. Okay.
Right, I wasn't impressed because it was more geared for, in my perspective, like lower enlisted.
Okay. Yeah.
So they
I see what
changed
you're saying.
that.
Yeah.
So they changed. They have.
He's right too. Yeah.
Yeah, they have the senior SFL tap,
That's
and
right.
they have the regular.
Oh, yours wasn't separate.
Well, no, we were all one.
Oh.
We're all in one.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get, but I don't know if it's changed.
It's
But I
changed.
think thanks to you guys, that's
They complain. This is big ass.
Yeah, the guinea pigs.
yeah, the guinea pigs.
But
They changed it.
Right.
Made it better.
the experience I got was we were all
Yeah.
geared, and it seems like no offense for everybody else.
Yeah.
Like first timers or second timers leaving the army,
Yeah.
but after 20,
Yeah.
I'm looking around and like you are not feeding me any information that I
Mhm.
need.
Right.
So
To get
when
to
I
know you.
so when I left Korea to come back here in JBLM, Fort Lewis area, yes, the family time was there, but at the same time,
Mhm.
I was networking
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
That's very
I
very
was
important.
I
That is the
was
key.
like trying to catch up.
Yeah, that's very important networking because,
Yeah.
and that's one thing about for those who are still in the service is
Yeah.
don't piss anybody off.
Yeah. Don't burn bridges.
Don't burn bridges because you never know who's gonna be the one that you need help with.
That's right.
Yeah.
Whether it be a private,
Yeah.
you start first class or whatever,
Yeah.
you'll need their help once you get out. Because once you get out, you're
No, that's true. But I don't know. That's a topic we're gonna hit on later. But you're right. Since we're talking about it already, I
yeah.
think that is actually the number one resources that we can use.
Yeah.
Is the networking.
Check this out. I had a soldier here in JBLM when I first got stationed in '07.
Right.
He got out. First timer. Got out. I think he got out E4. Specialist.
Right.
I didn't know that he was still. He stayed in the area.
Mm.
Worked for Boeing.
Oh wow.
Now,
Yeah.
big time ops manager of Boeing.
Wow. Damn. Just landed.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with him.
Yeah. Ran into him during one of an event here in Lacey.
Right.
I mean, good friend,
Right.
and I was amazed. I mean, he made it.
You made it. Yeah.
Yeah, he made it. He's really, really good.
Yeah, and that's how I got my
And
job.
you said he was a young soldier back
He
Yeah.
was a
then.
young soldier. I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that he had plans to continue 20.
Right. He knew.
He knew he was
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
get out.
Yeah, and that's how I got my job is because one of my coworkers
Yeah.
that I'm good with, her husband was the first sergeant in recruiting for medical officers, and they're like, "Hey, we need an admin guy." And by that time, I was like, "Okay, I think I'm ready to go to work."
Right. Right.
And so he hit me up, and we just hit it off, and I was able to kind of direct hire, and I'm loving my job right now, man. We got great leaders in the unit. I would have quit
Right.
if the people, because that's the most important thing in a job is the people that you work with, right? If you don't
Yeah.
meld with them, have a
hard.
good
Yeah,
relationship.
yeah.
It's hard,
You
right?
know,
Yeah.
right? And especially when you're a retiree, you're like, oh shit, I was the first sergeant.
Yeah.
You have to realize, no, you're no longer a first sergeant.
No,
you need to
no,
calm
no.
down. Sit your ass down and just follow.
That's funny. It's funny that you guys said that because even the guys I chaptered out, I did had a few substance abuse personnel that I had to unfortunately chapter out of the army.
Yeah.
Even those guys, they're young,
Mhm.
got into, but they were good. A lot of those actually are great soldiers. They just
Made a mistake.
can't let it go. You know what I mean? Like but
Bad call.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. And
Bad
then I think they understood that I was doing my job, but at the end of the day, we weren't burning a bridge there. So
Yeah.
if you're out there and you remember me, hopefully I did you guys a solid, and hopefully you guys are doing better. Yeah.
All right, moving on. Let's move on. reflecting on your experience, right? What advice do you have for soldiers regarding post-retirement employment or entrepreneurship? I think employment,
Wow.
you know.
I think
And I think we hit it up too. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
you got a good
yeah,
experience
and what
on
you
that
got?
one. You can start on that one. You got a good experience actually,
Well,
as far as transitioning.
well, for me, I don't know when it started. I know ever since I joined the army, one of my goals is always completing college.
Right, right.
So
Which is great. Yeah.
ever since I was a PFC
Yeah.
in Germany,
Mhm.
every time they had like Ready First University, it's like a
Mhm.
You
brigade.
jumped on it.
I was on it. I was on it. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
all leaderships were into it.
Yeah.
If you're enrolled over there, they send you to school.
Right, right, right.
So I took advantage. Why not?
Yeah.
We're not training.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Go to school. So
Right.
the biggest thing is, yes, I've heard people say like, "Oh, it's just a piece of paper.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a piece of paper, and I got all my experience."
Yeah, yeah.
But the problem, once you leave the military,
Right.
that piece of paper
Yeah.
is what you're competing with.
It's a box.
Other.
Yeah.
It's a box that
Right?
Yeah.
you can check off.
Correct.
Not to worry about.
A lot of people, a lot of college grads,
Right.
20, 25, they have bachelor's degrees, they get master's degrees.
Right.
They may lack experience, but
Right.
they are full of knowledge.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
And then here you are, you're maybe
Yeah.
great, full of experience,
Right.
but,
Lacking on paper.
you're lacking on
Mhm.
paper.
Young paper.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
I know it's going to be hard to complete
Yeah.
studies while you're in the military.
Right.
Schedules
It is tough.
really suck.
Yeah.
Right. But
It was.
It was. Don't get me wrong. That's a long, long nights,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I'm thankful. My family they're the ones that actually took the brunt.
Right,
There's
right,
a lot
right,
of things that I'm supposed to be doing at home
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
took over, so I can complete it.
That's right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
there's a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah, but at least you get the support of your family. That,
Yeah.
that helps a lot,
Oh yeah, my wife supported me a lot. Math.
She's good at math. She's a math teacher, right?
No, but she was better than me. She supported me on that one, and yeah. I mean, I think Rahel, you hit it right. And I think, but the good thing with that is the new army actually is transitioning.
Yeah.
Really, that's
So,
good.
Yes, because even when I was just getting out, I know that they wanted first sergeants to have at least a bachelor's
Mm-hmm.
to be able to match with the commanders. I think that was the idea.
That's the funny part. So
Yeah.
I don't know, like a couple years ago, I went back to California and I found my book,
Yeah.
my basic training book.
Oh
Basic
man,
training.
I still have mine.
Right, your album.
Yeah, I gotta find that
So
thing.
I still have mine.
I start flipping through it.
Yeah.
And it goes by your
Your platoon.
your
and
platoons.
Yeah.
But the very first part of that book is your leadership.
commanders
Mhm.
and all that. Yeah. First
Surprising.
sergeants.
Guess what? Even the first sergeants back then
Right, yeah.
are degree holders.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or at least on the basic training book that I had.
Right.
Right? It said their name,
Yeah.
degree.
Degrees,
Oh, really?
awards,
Yes.
maybe.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah.
They were not. I don't know if it was a Sandhill special.
I don't know.
Right?
No, I mean, once you're a drill sergeant, when you have those cycle breaks,
Yeah.
you have time. I
Yeah.
mean, you can, if you have a good company, right? Your battle bus can cover for you, but they still encourage going to college even though you're a drill sergeant.
Right.
So they give you the opportunity to go to school.
Yeah.
So, but some of the resources, what was that again? For advice for employment, right? It's good to have that college degree. And so the other thing is learn how to, and listen carefully to the SFL TAP briefs, because you need to learn, not just because you're a 42 Alpha or 88 Mike or whatever,
Yeah.
that you're going to stick to transportation or human
Or
resources.
this.
There's,
Yeah.
as a senior leader, you have that experience as a program manager, project manager. You have experience in leadership. You have a lot of you need to learn how to translate your skill set and experience
Yeah.
so that along with your degree to make it more competitive
Yeah.
in the civilian sector. Yes, civilian sector is dog eat dog world, man. Because I did the internship.
Yeah.
They loved me, but I didn't like it because it one person outdoing the other person to get a promotion from the boss, or they're like
Right.
brown nosing. I didn't like that environment
Yeah.
where, you know, your coworkers, your colleagues supposed to support each and everyone, but
Yeah.
instead they're like trying to one up each other for the boss, and I didn't like that. So I
in a
kind
bad
of,
way, because
oh yeah.
one of my models back in the day is like,
Well, they don't talk smack about the other person. They kind of like,
well, no, I was gonna say, because when I was a first sergeant, because all my platoons, what I told them, right?
Mm.
It's always a competition.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
We gotta one up each other, because if you one upping me,
yeah,
then that means we're all, at the end of the day, we're all gonna get better.
right. But that's not the case in the civil
Okay,
sector.
okay.
Yeah.
In a
It's
bad
like
way,
it's
in a bad
me,
way.
me, me.
Yeah.
You
Throw
forget
you on the
you.
bus.
Yeah, throw you on the bus.
Yeah.
Like if you did something wrong, they're like, hey,
Yeah.
remember that one time? Oh.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest difference.
This is the civilian world you're talking
Yes,
about.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's
I
the
haven't
biggest
experienced
difference.
that yet.
That's the
Oh,
biggest
yeah.
difference with
Yeah.
Well, you're a
military
GS.
and civilian.
Right.
I didn't go back to a federal job or anything.
That's
like
right.
that.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah.
after the military, yes, I attempted to go back as or I tried to apply for GS.
Right.
But it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So my first job was as an operations manager in Target distribution, and just seeing how they operated there. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Is it like that?
It's
Yeah.
you are one upping at somebody else's.
Yeah.
In a
Somebody.
bad way.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you're using them as a stepping stone.
oh yeah.
This is in the civilian sector. This was a civilian.
Right.
Because now I'm a GS.
Right.
It's not like that in
And
the
I guess
GS.
this is good to know for everyone.
Right.
That's
So
still in. And,
Right, and
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it's a different kind of teamwork. Again,
Right.
but that's my experience. Not
Right.
all other companies are the same,
Right.
Mhm.
right?
Right.
Who knows? Maybe it's a
Yeah.
different atmosphere or culture.
Right.
At whatever said company,
Right.
right? But the one that I experienced when I went to Target,
it wasn't that great.
it was great if you are on top.
mhm. Yeah.
Gotcha.
If you're on top, you're the boss.
So far, I guess I don't know yet.
Yeah.
In my experience, I haven't experienced.
That's why I opt
the
for.
actual full-fledged
Yeah.
civilian life.
Yeah.
I guess I haven't experienced.
Yeah,
it yet.
because it's
Not
GS.
working,
The GS,
obviously.
the federal system, you're still working with military. So
That's right. So yeah,
So they know.
It's still a little different.
Right.
I kind of know the lingo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus,
know,
you feel like you're still in the military.
Yeah.
In
I
a
know their
sense.
boundaries, like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
left and
funny.
right
It's
sector.
funny. Here's
So-
one thing that we always do, right?
Yeah.
Counseling.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Counseling sessions.
You know what?
When
Those
you-
are helpful, man.
They
it
are.
does.
Very
When you
helpful.
do counsel,
Yeah.
whatever the frequency is with your soldiers,
Right.
it's great for everybody.
That's right. No, it is. It is. I
You
agree.
mentioned counseling or coaching
Yeah.
in a civilian sector.
It's
Oh
different.
boy,
That's
It's
bad
different.
juju.
you are in trouble. Something
Yeah.
is wrong.
Really?
Something happened
Yeah,
in the civilian sector.
Right.
But you
but
you
depends on culture. Depends on
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah.
So you gotta establish that culture.
yeah. So
True,
it's good that you mentioned that the counseling piece that's another piece that is good
Yeah.
before you transition out is your NCER, because that's a form of prime verification information about your experiences and what you've done.
Right.
So
You know what I did with mine?
what did you do?
I hooked up with Heroes for Hire.
I have that. Yeah.
They're the ones.
That
Gentleman
is-
named Ian.
It still
Oh, they do
exists.
exist.
Okay. Well,
They're-
for
Yeah.
everyone that's getting out.
Yeah, Heroes for Hire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do exist.
Yeah.
They connect with you. They ask, send me
Right.
your last 5, 6 NCOERs.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They help you write that resume.
That's pretty good. That's
They
a
ask
good
you.
info out there.
Oh yeah, they ask you what
Yeah.
position are you trying to look for?
Yeah.
What position you're trying to look for,
Okay.
and they will tailor that resume
Right.
based on your NCOERs.
Wow, that's good to know, man.
Oh yeah, so that's
And
my-
they just grab all of that data and then made it into our resume.
into a resume.
Wow, that is
They're the ones that help me out with my resume.
right.
Yeah, talk about resume. I have
Yeah.
another resource. This is from a former major, Bruce Benedict from United States Army, and they have a civilian resume writing workbook. It's looks like this. It's pretty. It's I got this for free because he had a seminar with the agency, and it's very helpful how to make
Oh, this is
your
a translation. Is that what it is?
translation, right?
Okay. Army
See,
to civilian.
so this is that one, Operation
pretty good.
Civilian Recipe and Operation Job Search, where it talks about,
Right.
what stuff that you have in your NCR and how does it translate
Yeah.
to your resume.
That's
So
pretty good.
it talks about that. It's pretty good.
You know what? I was surprised
Right.
when I was going through SFL Tap.
Right.
They had those.
Do you have those?
Oh, did they?
Not the book,
Oh.
but they have websites for
Oh, okay,
you
okay, okay. Oh, to visit. And,
to visit.
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
type in whatever your
Yeah.
your MOS,
That's right. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
and it tells you like
Right,
okay,
right.
you could be on this fields,
Right.
right? Not just because you're infantry. Oh, you're gonna be security.
Yeah. No. 'Cause it has a lot of
It does.
sub.
Right.
It's
components,
funny
yeah.
you mentioned that because I was in Afghanistan
Yeah.
in our compound, and our
Yeah.
security guards were the 82nd Airborne.
82nd
I
Airborne.
was like, "You guys from 82nd? Open the gate."
Security guards.
Security guards, man. They were,
No, it's not limited. It's not very.
No,
Especially, I think that's why it matters that moving up in ranks, I think, does matter because it opens up more diversity in your background.
it does.
Mhm.
It
Your
does.
leadership.
It does. It stretches you a
Yeah,
lot
that's right.
with knowledge.
Because you're not just an infantryman anymore.
No, you're not. Now you're dealing with personnel,
You're managing.
managing
Yeah.
personnel.
you're pretty much admin as if you're
Pretty
a
much
first
everything.
sergeant. Yeah, pretty much everything.
You are it.
You are
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
you're
You
the
will
guy.
learn. You will learn.
Like
Right.
our friend Alan, he
Yeah.
got hired as a event coordinator in MGM.
MGM.
And,
What's up, Alan? If you're out there.
and he-
Uh,
miss you, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's doing really well because his experience being a
Well,
first
hook us
sergeant.
up when we go to Vegas. You know?
free room.
I asked him for an NFL ticket, but he kind of
Alright.
forgot.
There you go.
It's okay. It's all right. I
Well, he
still
might be
love
watching.
him. I still love him, man.
Uh,
So that's the biggest difference too. And I noticed in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
civilian and the military culture, right?
yeah.
We call each other brother and sisters, but in
Yeah,
civilian
Oh,
sector,
yeah.
it's like colleague, partner,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
It's like
it's
there's
more-
no intimacy between.
No. I mean, it's hard.
No, it's
It's hard because you just don't know where that line.
That's
would be.
true because you don't know.
Yeah.
oh,
It's
so
a-
it's
it's
a
a-
different kind of line.
It's a different
Yeah,
culture.
that-
It's a different
You're
culture.
talking
the
about.
imaginary line is different than the outside world.
Right,
Oh.
because you can say something right, and they can interpret it in a different manner.
Not like we
Now
do.
they're gonna report it to
That's
HR.
right. Not
Yeah.
like we do it.
It's
the
an
army is kinda
HR
Right.
issue. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can,
I believe the army is kind of becoming more sensitive like that too now.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm just
well, I mean,
How
that's a
is-
that's a
which is-
topic for a different conversation because
Oh, is that right?
we can go on and on
Oh, okay,
about
okay, okay,
with,
okay, okay.
with
Okay,
the
okay.
culture of the army now and the culture
Let's not-
before.
Let's focus. Got it.
For next.
For next, but that's
Uh-oh.
that's a
Stay
different.
tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
And that's a big
we
discussion.
don't want to open
right
that
there.
can. Not
No,
yet,
because
not
I want to talk about a lot of stuff
yet.
about
Got you.
what the army is now, what it was before, and where
There
we're
you go.
heading
We'll
to.
just- We'll let them think about that, and maybe they can send us questions about those too.
So let's do a final question here. What are some unexpected aspects of retirement life that you encountered, and how did you adapt?
Unexpected
Mm.
retirement. Say it again.
Unexpected
Uh,
misconception, misconceptions. Some comment. I don't know that one. Aspects of retirement life. Unexpected aspects of retirement life that you encountered, and how did you adapt? For example, I think what this is talking about is, now you don't have
oh,
the monthly income, right? How did you adapt to that?
got you.
Or something about, we don't have any more like wake up in the morning, go do PT.
Right.
How do you adapt to that? So
Okay, so they're talking about like time and everything.
some
else.
time
Okay.
management or something like that.
To me, it was pretty easy. Again, I was hooked to golfing, and
Mhm.
I play early.
Yeah.
My body clock just wakes me up, and my PT is golf. I walk.
Yeah,
I don't ride, and that was my routine as when I retired.
Yeah.
Almost every other day. Sometimes every day.
Well, yeah.
What's your handicap?
pretty high.
Oh.
Not that good. I just like
Single digit.
I just like the fun of it.
Okay. Yeah, his handicap is at 9. Is
When
it
I
9?
was younger,
It's 9,
I
right?
was 9 at one point. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah,
I wish I could play golf.
It's 7 now.
yeah. It is now in the double digits.
Oh, you
Unfortunately,
went up?
yeah, I went up. Yeah.
You know how
Hey
I
Nelson, I know you're single digit.
Is it because of winter?
I think so. I blame the cold weather.
you know it's
That's a good
funny.
point.
Funny you mentioned PT,
Yeah,
right? So I started doing this
Yeah,
PT,
yeah.
and I need my motivation. So what I did is I get my boss, who was the first sergeant in the recruiting, and my commander, great guys, and I tell them, hey, let's go to the gym. So that forces me to go to the gym too, because I don't want to be. It's like going back to the roots.
Yeah.
I want to hang out with those. 'Cause,
Yeah.
looking at them, I'm like, man, I can do that too.
Yeah.
And then I'm like straining, like, oh shit, first I can do this. I should do this too. It kind of motivates me.
Well, I know you have a Peloton at
No,
home.
yeah,
So,
well-
I mean, you got a gym at home, so.
I do,
I mean,
but
I-
I don't really use it as much as I want to.
Well, but you did though. You had
COVID.
one. Remember, we had that challenge, and you kind of did.
Oh my gosh, COVID was awesome
yeah.
for me
Yeah,
because
yeah.
of the workouts,
Oh yeah.
right?
No, I was still active duty, and you're right. I was actually more active during COVID than not during COVID. Actually, for real.
Well, you gotta push yourself. You gotta.
No,
It's so hard.
We had a challenge.
It's so hard. Once you retire, because your mental state is like, I don't have to do a PT test. I don't have to do a height and weight.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I did gain weight though.
I
Yeah,
I
I
gained
did
so
a lot.
much weight.
I did a lot. Yeah.
But I'm losing a lot now, though. But not much yet.
I
so.
think the key there is not stopping.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people,
Consistency.
my mentality was, oh, I'm retired now. Let me at least take a 2-month break.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
let me at least get a 2-month break, and then maybe I'll get back to it. That was a wrong move.
Yeah.
I think don't stop. If
Yeah.
you have the momentum already, just forget about it. Just keep going.
Right.
At least trim it down. You don't have to stop. Just
Yeah.
trim it down.
mine is a little bit different. The workout was great, but
Yeah.
the thing that really pushes me the most
Yeah.
is the work that I do now.
Mm.
It's a lot of I work for a nonprofit,
Right.
so
It's a lot of moving.
it's a lot of outreach and making sure that the people that have needs that they cannot
Yeah.
get in normal situations,
Right.
you're out there helping them. So that's what makes me go.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's the motivation.
That's
that
my
you-
motivation
that-
right now.
Mm.
I think you hit the key word there is find your motivation,
Yeah.
basically.
And I'm glad I work for who I work for, because they're my motivation right now.
Yeah. You're right.
No, I was pretty lucky. I mean, after retiring
Yeah.
military, went to Target. Target was great.
Right.
I was just like anybody else retiring. I was chasing money.
Yeah.
Once I got the money,
Yeah.
it was eating me alive. I was not happy.
Mm.
Right. So that's the give and take, right?
I was the give and take. I wasn't
yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
Even my wife was saying, "Man, I've never seen you all pissed off.
Yeah,
even
yeah,
when
yeah.
you were in the army.
So now you were asking yourself, like, is this
Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it worth it?"
Yeah.
And then finally, I found the nonprofit
Yeah.
where actually the mission is
Right.
not about the money.
Right.
Mm.
The mission is actually the help that you're
Yeah.
giving the community, and that gave me a sense of purpose. Just
Right.
like back in the army, now
Yeah.
you have
A
your
purpose.
mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So your fulfillment is.
Yeah.
That's helping out people.
Yeah, so
and you
that-
can see the fruit of your labor.
I think that's the key there is you gotta love what you do when you get out of the army.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not about
Mhm.
sometimes. Well, I guess
Well,
You-
it depends,
I guess it depends on you. What you
You're
try to
more
do with
committed.
life. Yeah.
You're more committed in the job if you love what you're doing.
Don't
Well-
get me wrong.
Well,
It-
me personally, I wasn't. This is what I told myself when I was looking for a job. Okay, do I want to chase the money or do I want to not stress? Right.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at my wife and I said, I don't want to lose my mind.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna go the other route.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
You know what the funny part is? I'm happy where I'm at.
Right.
I didn't chase the money,
Yeah.
but the money's there.
Money's there.
So
I mean, I'm
don't
not.
get me
Don't
wrong.
get me wrong. Yeah,
Don't get
exactly.
me wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
I
I
don't
mean,
work for free.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't work for free.
Yeah.
We don't get paid that low, but
Yeah.
we
But everybody deserves
But
to
we're
love
happy.
what they do.
we're
You know
happy.
what I
We're
mean?
happy.
You know,
Yeah.
so-
I think that's
so-
the end of the day. Is you did your time, and then find something that you actually enjoy
Mhm.
Yeah.
post retirement. Right.
Yeah, post retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the key.
That's the key.
Take
So
vacations.
I think we're almost hitting on our mark here. 10 minutes for an hour, so we can summarize what we talked
We
about.
hit up a lot.
We did hit up a lot of
That's
those
good. That's
questions,
good.
and I think our viewers will get a lot of the stuff from us. But I want to summarize, like, hey, some of the things that you can do before, while, and post retirement. Right?
Mhm.
Is before you retire, at least 2 years before your planned retirement date,
Right.
plan. Right?
Mhm.
Take care of, you mentioned that the finances piece. Take care of your finance.
Yeah.
Don't fail yourself. Basically, don't
Yeah.
put yourself in a hole. Take
Right.
care of what you're taking care of. Um, Anything else that I missed? This is before retirement.
I mean, we didn't even talk about medical, and
Yeah.
that's a whole nother
That's a
world.
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
We can talk about that.
But
Yeah.
for the audiences I'm pretty sure whoever's watching, right? There's probably two types of audience. The active duty wise, the one that has the post, what do you call that? The BRS.
The BRS,
And one is the
blended
one,
retirement system.
yeah, and the other one is the old school retirement, right?
The five
So
Ps.
that also factors into your planning.
Yeah.
So
But we can
financially.
talk about that
Yeah.
next session.
Yeah.
And we can just go, hey, let's talk about medical. Let's talk about
Yeah.
financials and
Yeah.
all that stuff. But yeah, so plan 2 years ahead of time.
Yeah.
Also, don't put yourself in a hole. Another advice would be making sure that your leadership are well informed of what your plans are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because if they don't know what you need to do or what you're planning to do,
Yeah.
then they'll become hurdles or obstacles to your plan.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the things that I, as a senior leader, I have access to is the sergeant major. So I talked to him, hey, sergeant major, 2 years, I'm retiring.
Yeah.
So we can talk about it, and don't be shy, don't be afraid of sergeant major. Sergeant major's there for a reason. They're here there to take care of you. So make sure that you communicate with them your plan to your leadership. If you're an officer, talk to your senior rater, making sure they're aware of your plan 2 years in advance, or 1 year in advance if you're PCSing, right? Making sure that they allow you to get time to take care of you. And in order for that to happen, is you make sure you take care of your senior leaders. Meaning, everything that needs to be done prior to your retirement is done, like training the new officer or whatever the case may be. If no officers involved, train your NCO to fill in the gap, making sure everything is dressed for future, making sure it's set up for success, so that when you depart, the command is comfortable of letting you go. That will let them enable you to transition more smoothly, meaning that whatever you need, they'll accommodate, because they can't accommodate if there's gaps, right?
Yeah.
So that's my advice.
Basically, communicate.
Communicate. That's the biggest thing. And we're talking about while retiring, taking care of yourself, taking care of your medical stuff.
Yeah.
Another thing is pre-retirement, making sure you go to sick call the whole 2 years. Go sick call, get all that ailments on your records.
Yeah.
That's important. And then take care of your medical, getting ready to transition. Prepare yourself and your family for transitioning. And then once post transition is relax, take it easy, enjoy your retirement. And if you need to work right away, you can work right away.
Yeah.
I advise to take it easy for the 6, maybe to a year.
Yeah.
Taking care of yourself and your family,
Yeah.
and then plan for your future, whatever the case, whatever your plan is.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with starting
this-
to work or taking.
Yeah, there's no right or
vacation.
wrong answer on that one.
It's-
As long as you planned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on you guys. Yeah.
Transitioning from the military is a beautiful thing.
Oh.
It is. It's the grass is greener on the
Well,
other
tell you
side.
this, the only regret I have is not doing it earlier.
Yeah. Remember, if you haven't made up your mind yet,
Yeah.
the more time you go over 20, the more money you're losing, because you could get the
Yes.
retirement money and your work money.
That's right.
But that's up to you, right?
That I must say I agree
Yeah.
with. And that's what I meant by the only regret I have is not retiring earlier.
Right.
Man,
I wish I did.
that calculator,
Yeah, I
man,
wish I did.
that's an eye opener.
It is
Yeah.
a big eye opener for you guys that don't know what we mean.
Oh yeah, there is that
Come
app.
back later and watch us again.
I'll put that on the.
We'll
on
talk
the
about
link.
that. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
called, and I have it right
Oh,
here.
the retirement calculator.
Retirement.
Yeah, all of that stuff. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
called Military Retire Calculator.
Or
It's an
whatever,
app.
or whatever you guys have, whatever questions you guys have, just let us know because we might have it. If you don't, we don't have it. Trust me, one of us knows somebody that
Yeah.
knows somebody that knows the answer.
All right, and I think that's all the time that we have.
Yeah.
For closing comment.
Peace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, viewers, thank you very much for being here with us in our first ever inaugural podcast of Top Talks.
Top talks.
Top talks.
You're the three tops signing out, and I hope you liked our podcast.
All right, top talks.
See you in the next episode.